Welcome back to everybody. And I'm so delighted to be connected with Julie Cavaliere, that she is the director, the writer, and I would say the major creative behind the project Nyssa, that is one of the work that has been selected for Biennale Immersive section. And so this is your world premiere, and you've been starting with, you started with your career with different professions, and also you have so many skills that I would like to hear from you, starting from your beginnings and now you get to Biennale.
Yeah, and thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure meeting you and getting to chat with you today. But yeah, I came from a lot of different career backgrounds. I started my career studying traditional film and TV production, and I was working for and interning for producers. And then I turned left and I was accepted into the Actors Studio Drama School at the New School for Drama. And so I studied there and began working as an actor and still do. And then I started studying improv and sketch comedy writing and was performing on stage for that, and also traditional theater, continuing to work in film and TV. And then I was accepted into a writing intensive at Columbia University. So I began writing more and more. And then I decided to combine all of these sort of different aspects of myself. And I formed a production company called Cavaliere Productions. And we did a short film as our kind of premiere production. And then while I was working on that, I visited the Tribeca Film Festival and their immersive section, and I became really inspired. And I had this idea for Nyssa. I asked around, and I was connected to what became my producing partner on this volume and my co-creator of the anthology series Reimagined. And her name is Michaela Ternasky-Holland. And yeah, and then I kind of from there teamed up with Meta and the animation studio Cyro. And we have worked tirelessly over the last year to bring this to life. And we are so thrilled that after all of those blood, sweat, and tears, we're premiering at the Biennale.
You've been inspired by Brother Grimm's False Tale, and Behind My Shoulders you can admire this work. It is one of the frames you sent me just to have a little bit of inspiration on your fantastic work. And could you tell us which were the main challenges working with VR rather than AR and all the new technologies? So it's interesting to know.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. And as you said, Nyssa is a reimagining of the Brothers Grimm's story, The Tale of the Boy Who Went Forth to Learn Fear. It's a very catchy title. But I reimagined it through this female lens and used the story to talk a bit about fear conditioning and female self-actualization, especially in young girls. And then began to just form a very specific style of animation and style of art. I think what was, to answer your question, I think what was some of the challenges was thinking about, so we're using this platform called Quill, which is amazing in that the animators were working in VR, drawing everything in VR. It's an animation tool specifically for that, and it's all hand painted, everything that you're seeing. So that already is a challenge. And to do that with the level of detail we wanted to do it, and that brought me to the medium in the way that when you read a story when you're younger and you feel completely immersed in it, you just are kind of taken away and it envelops you. That was my goal with this project. And in order to do that, with everything being hand painted, we had to make sure that it wasn't very heavy, that we were always trying to make the file size smaller and smaller and optimizing it, but without losing any of the quality or level of detail or story. So that was really, I think, the main challenge and the focus of most of our conversations is how can we keep ourselves to a very high creative level and push the boundaries of this platform, but still make sure that we can get it into a MetaQuest headset.
And when exactly you thought that it was the case to present the project to Biennale, and why you think Biennale could be the stage, the preferable stage to present this production?
Absolutely, it's a great question. And you were at the Biennale this year, so you saw just how much they've expanded this and how much the Biennale has invested in this medium. First of all, it's the oldest film festival in the world. And we thought from the beginning how amazing it would be if we could take this new medium and this new style of telling stories and world premiere it at the oldest, most prestigious film festival in the world. What a dream. So we were, I'm sure I don't have to tell you, we were so excited and over the moon to be able to attend and to be invited to world premiere. But yeah, I think it was just knowing how dedicated the curators, Liz and Michelle, are to expanding this medium and showcasing it. I mean, it was really just, it was so mind-blowing to see it in person and how large it was and how many different types of VR, XR, immersive stories that were available. So we were just really wanting to be among the best, and certainly the Biennale is that.
And what's your take on the different amount, the two words, working as an actress and working as a producer? Which are the main differences?
Yeah, I mean, and for me, you know, an actor, it's wonderful to just come onto an acting, to come onto a set and you do your work as an actor and you leave. But very often for an actor, the work doesn't begin and end there. You're very involved in the creative. Some of the best when you're on set, when it's time to film, some of the best actors I've ever worked with in theater or in film, they're problem solvers. They're looking at the light, they're looking at the script, they're giving suggestions, they're collaborating. So in that way, when I started producing, that felt similar because everybody is in service of telling the best story possible. But you know, when you're a producer, you also have to worry about the budget and the timeline, and are we going to finish? And you know, you're always troubleshooting every day, so you have more of the headache as well. It's not purely the creative.
And I saw a very cute protagonist of Nyssa, and they send me also different pics with different accessories and tools and things that are absolutely made and conceived to be loved by children. So is this production made realized to conquer preferable kids, or also any kind of audiences?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think absolutely it's for any kind of audience. There are moments that are a little bit dark. We're talking about you know, fear conditioning and these kind, and actual self-actualization. So these are themes, but our goal was always that it could appeal to a tween, it could appeal to parents, it could appeal to slightly older children. You know, it's not really for 4 and 5, as there's some moments that can be a little bit scary, I think. But just to have this broad range so that everybody can have that experience, again, whether you know, you're still young enough that when you see something you're fully immersed automatically, or if you're an adult, to take you back to that time in your life when a story enveloped you.
Yeah, also because this story contains also a few morals and philosophical concept. Can you explain some of them?
Sure. So the story of Nyssa is about this precocious young witch who doesn't understand what fear means. And she loses her best friend, a broom named Broom, and she goes out into the unknown despite her mother's wishes. Her mother warns her that there's an evil that exists outside the village, and that in order to stay safe, whenever you're met with the feeling of fear, you have to run away. And so Nyssa goes on a journey to save her broom, and then eventually out into the unknown, where she has to make a choice and learn about what fear is and how to harness it and how to develop her own intuition in order to hopefully save her village from the wrath of the evil Timenkag.
So, which are your expectations after the participation of Biennale?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. Well,
Anyway,
we what?
many, I will say many of them.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're just so thrilled to have the Biennale as our world premiere, and then what we are going to do is to continue our run in the film festival circuits and globally, and then eventually having a US premiere. And then I can't say when yet, but we will be launching sometime next year on the Oculus player, on the video player app in the Oculus store.
And which are the services that you offer with your very Cavaliere production? Because I saw that you have many many way to help the industry with your skills and experiences.
Yes, absolutely. And just to clarify, it's the virtual animation app that it's launching on it got tongue-tied earlier. But yeah, so my production company is a full service production company. We handle development all the way through post-production and distribution. And we focus on telling really complex stories from unusual and often overlooked points of view. So that's kind of our mission. And yeah, we have a very small development slate. We don't take on a lot of projects because I believe strongly that whatever we do take on in terms of development, that we have to see through to production and eventually distribution. So we only work with a small handful of projects, but we throw ourselves into it 150%.
Why would you suggest to young boys and girls to start a career in this sector? I mean, in the digital field.
Well, I think what's so interesting about it, especially for me coming from more traditional media, I was so blown away by by the generosity of the other creators. You know, I came into it not being an expert, not knowing very much, and everyone I came in contact with was so warm and willing to share. It's a very collaborative field. It also feels a bit like the Wild West in that it's still defining itself and it's growing exponentially every year. So I think it's a really exciting time to be in this field because it's not as carved out as, let's say, film that's been around as long as it has, or even television now that has a long history. It's a really exciting field, and it has yet to be defined. So I think it's really interesting, if that is what interests you, to jump in and be a part of that.
And I imagine that after Biennale, this production will be released in cinema and also on TV, or whenever it will be, everybody would be interested in releasing such a fascinated, because I was captured really by these images. So I think your destiny is absolutely amazing. So
thank you. That's so sweet of you. Thank you.
Do you have any dates and some places already?
Well, as I said, we're finishing our film festival run. Well, we just began it, but we're going to do that. And I can't say when, but eventually and we will announce it, of course, but we will be on the virtual animation app and through distribution through MetaQuest sometime in 2023. And then who knows, we'll see. But once it's all decided, I'll continue to announce. You could follow us. We're Reimagined VR. And on all the social media platforms, and stay up to date that way.
So I would like to know also your future project, or also your dreams in life.
Oh, I think my dream in life is to just keep being able to tell stories like this in different ways. It was this project specifically was so difficult in so many ways, but it was so creatively fulfilling. Working in this medium and thinking about everything in 360 degrees was so satisfying for me. So to continue to tell stories that I think are important, and being given the opportunity to do that, and creating my own opportunity when not given the opportunity to do that, I think that is the dream.
Yeah, I also guess you had an amazing cast and staff with you working on this.
Yes, they are Alex Cazares, Roger Jackson, and Sally Saffioti. They were just a gift. They were so brilliant and so wonderful. And the minute I heard each of their voices in the casting, I knew the characters came to life in a different way. So I was really very grateful to have found them, and still am.
So I wish you all the best luck for the end of this competition at Biennale. And for sure, I will release a little digital review with your pics and your amazing trailer to support you in your work. And I really hope to meet you again, not virtually, but physically one day. You never know. And
never know.
Thank you so much to be with me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I really hope to see you soon, and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure, and thank you so much for your supports and And like I said, your background is amazing.
Yeah. I look more beautiful as well with this.
You do. It works. It works very
It
well for
works.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ciao.